anxiously waiting around to see what happens and if the Lakers eventually make a trade. Whether it's the Pacers deal, the Spurs deal, the Hornets deal, whatever type of trade, just something to get LeBron some help, especially with Anthony Davis out. Now, hopefully Anthony Davis comes back sooner rather than later. We are now in the month of January, and usually mid-January to late January is when things really start ramping up on the trade front. And, obviously the February 9th trade deadline is when no more deals can be done beyond that date. So between now and then, if the Lakers are going to get a deal done, that's when a deal is going to get done. And you're likely going to hear a lot of the ramped up rumors and speculations centered around the Lakers and various teams. Also, there may be some new teams that come out of the woodworks, right? So far, it's been pretty consistent amongst like a certain pool of teams. But I'm sure that there are teams out there that may have some players that they want to move off of and consider the Lakers as a valuable trade partner with expiring salaries as well as, future draft picks. And I know a lot of people look at it and go, well, why would a team want a draft pick, several years from now rather than like today? And it's because like, depending on what the team is, you're not going to get a lottery pick this year, right? So if you're a team that's in a unique situation, you're trying to rebuild or, retool or kind of figure out what's your identity, what direction do you want to go? A 25th pick in the draft isn't as valuable as a potential lottery pick, right? Because the Lakers are already in dysfunction with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Many teams believe that the Lakers are going to continue to be in dysfunction, especially in the 2027-2029 season when you don't have LeBron James and potentially Anthony Davis to kind of fall back on. So if they're in a bad state, well, then you look like the genius that you are. And if it is, and let's say the Lakers are a contender come that time, you still have assets at that time that you can use to maybe retool or do whatever you need to, right? You're basically pushing, at worst case, you're pushing the 20 to 30th pick now into the future rather than right now, right? So that could be something as well. But from the Lakers standpoint, it seems like, and we constantly keep getting these reports, that the Lakers are star chasing, right? They're trying to get some star, that they're holding on to their assets and their draft assets to go get a guy that can be a game changer, right? And Bradley Beal is one of those guys that has been linked to the Lakers, that he's been linked to the Lakers for some time. He very likely would have left in the offseason of Washington if he could have. He even said himself, I mean, the big reason why he resigned was because there weren't really other options, right? So it's one of those ideas of like, get your money now and then work it out and figure it out come the future. And from a Washington Wizards standpoint, there's a lot of talks about the Washington Wizards may really considering trading Bradley Beal just to get off of his contract. They're a team that's not really winning. They're a team that's not very good, and they're kind of stuck, right? They're a team that's kind of stuck in this like limbo or this like purgatory of just being mediocre, right? They are currently, at the time of recording this video, they are on a 5-game win streak, and they're sitting at 17-21, but they're a play-in team. And are they really winning anything? Probably not. There's a lot of questions with Kyle Kuzma. What are they going to do with Kuzma? Do they trade him? Do they keep him? What do they do with that? Porzingis, can you move off of Kristaps Porzingis? He's still got another year on his deal beyond this year, and maybe even potentially longer. So it's one of those things where if you're the Wizards, do you look at it and go, okay, well, let's just, tank for the bottom. We're a play-in team at best. Let's just scrap it. Let's unload everybody. Let's clear our salary space and let's, restart. Get whatever assets we can, move off some of these guys. But more importantly than anything, get the salary cleared. Because Bradley Beal, he's on a rough contract, especially in the next few years, right? I mean, he's in the 50 millions, right? You think Russell Westbrook's contract is bad. Bradley Beal's could be very bad towards the end of that contract, especially with his health injury and, just health history in general, right? He's a guy that can't really stay on the court very much, if at all, either. And there's a lot of concerns in that regards. But regardless, beyond all that, the Lakers still seem very determined to try to get Bradley Beal. And Mark Stein even released a recent report basically confirming this, that the Lakers are kind of waiting around to see what happens with Bradley Beal and several other stars, right? DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. Although Zach LaVine, I think is he's probably the least likely. DeMar DeRozan, I can actually see. And Bradley Beal, I think, is a potential, which we'll get into in a minute as to why. But per Mark Stein, NBA reporter Mark Stein wrote in his Substack newsletter that opposing teams think the Lakers are holding on to their first-round picks 2027 and 2029 for one main reason. In case a currently unforeseen shot to trade for a legitimate third star like Washington Wizards' Bradley Beal materializes suddenly. And the idea is that Bradley Beal, he is the player that has a no-trade clause. So if he was to want out and demand out, he can essentially strong-arm his way to any organization. So if he wants to go to the Lakers, he can choose to go to the Lakers. Not just that, but even if he was open to several teams, how many teams are trading for Bradley Beal? Like, that's a real question, right? I mean, Bradley Beal, he's a solid player, right? He's a good player. But is he the best player on a contender? Probably not. He's probably best suited as your second or third best player. And not just that, but with his insane salary, teams have to be able to match that and come close to that, right? Within the 125% rule. And Bradley Beal, he's going to want to go to a team that is contending, right? He's not going to want to go from one just bad team to another bad team. He's going to want to go to, or at least a team he perceives, because, I mean, it's not like the Lakers are really good, but at least he would have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, so they would probably be a good team, right? And then even after LeBron, you still have AD and Bradley Beal to move forward with, and then you could go and hopefully use LeBron's space to go and get whatever else you need, right? And then now the Lakers have that third star that they've been coveted, and Bradley Beal could kind of force his way there. But any other team in the league, like, they would have to come up with $55 million in salary. Like, it's just really hard to do and not blow your team up, right? Like, could a contender out there potentially want him? Possibly, sure. Maybe there is some team that would be interested in Bradley Beal, but like, what are you trading to get him without sacrificing your entire roster? I could see a team like the Knicks going after him because they really want, they wanted Donovan Mitchell. They seem to really trying to covet other stars as well. But even then, they would be hard pressed to get to 50 plus million. Like, they would have to trade like their entire roster. And it also has to make sense for Washington, right? You don't want to just take a bunch of like random long-term salaries and now you're stuck and you're terrible and it's like, and you're just trapped, right? Or at least the Lakers, the one thing the Lakers have that no one else really has is the capability to take on Bradley Beal, give you assets, and on top of that, you don't have to be stronghold to multi-year salaries, right? Like, and that's where the benefit that the Lakers have lies. Personally, I don't want to see the Lakers go after the third star. I would rather them go and get the depth, because especially if you go get Bradley Beal, right? Like, you get Bradley Beal, he's very injury prone. Anthony Davis is very injury prone. So you got two stars that are very injury prone. Now, hopefully they're both not out at the same time, so you always have at least two stars, but still. Like, and look, I think Bradley Beal would be a nice compliment next to LeBron and AD. I do. I think he would make us much, much better, but I don't think he really helps our defense, and I don't think he's that good to where it's like, man, like, watch out. Like, I do think he makes us better, but does he make us a contender? Possibly. I mean, fit could be a real thing. But I mean, Bradley Beal's no slouch, but he's going from being the number one guy to the number, 3 guy. What is his production going to look like too? Like, there's a lot of questions that come with going and getting a third star. Now, I do think Bradley Beal would at least attempt to come in and try to be the third fiddle. I really do. I think he'd come in and try his best. But, I mean, it's not like he's averaging 30 a game right now. He's averaging, 23, 24 a game. Like, if he comes in and he drops to, 18, then you might as well have just gotten 3 or 4 role players, right? Because, you could go get 3 or 4 role players and they'll give you just as much, if not more, than what Bradley Beal would give you. Yes, the idea is Bradley Beal at any given night could give you 30 plus, and kind of handle the scoring load if you need him to. But I just think if you have the committee, so to speak, I think you kind of get the same production. I just don't think a third star is absolutely necessary. But this is a Laker theme, though, right? Like, this is what the Lakers do. This is what the Lakers love to do, right? The Lakers love to be that team that goes star hunting, and they love to chase those stars and go big game hunting. And I just I wouldn't be upset, right? Like, say tomorrow we get an announcement that Bradley Beal has gone to the Lakers. Like, I'm not going to be mad. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh man, I can't believe they did that. Why did they do that? Like, it's not going to be like that. But I mean, I would be just as happy, if not more, if we did like a Hornets deal, or we did a Spurs deal, or something like that, to where we got some real depth with some real talent, some real starting level players. Like, yes, you have these three, and then, maybe you could go and sign a Hassan Whiteside or something, or maybe go big with like a Damian Jones, and or a Thomas Bryant or something like that, and just to give you some size, because Bradley Beal isn't going to help your perimeter defense, right? Like, he's not going to help at all, right? Like, so I just think that if you're the Lakers, what do? Do you go and, because now you have no first, because you're going to have to give up both first, right? So now you have both. Now you have no first. Like, maybe you take on Porzingis also, right? Like, maybe you work it out to do that, to where you take on Kristaps and you take on Bradley Beal, and now you go, Bradley Beal, Porzingis, Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Like, that is something. I don't know. Maybe we'll explore that even independently in and of itself. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. What do you think? Do you want Bradley Beal? Do you not want Bradley Beal? Are you concerned that, the Lakers are probably waiting out for Bradley Beal? Are you not? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear them. Let me know down in the comment section below.